So lately I've been playing a lot of Dark and Darker, and for those who know nothing about the game, it's best described as a extraction shooter. But instead of shooting, you're casting spells, slinging bow and arrows, and crossing swords. Regardless, the objective of the game is to get dropped into a zone, either working by yourself or with the team, and escape with the sweet, sweet loot. The only challenge is that there's elements of player versus environment, so this could be monsters in game, or you can think about Bear Grylls in the wild, or elements of player versus player, which means someone else can just run up on you and end your life.
That's a weird place to sit.
Players. Oh my god, that guy, what the fuck?
And since I've been playing often, I figured I'd ask my fiance what she thinks about the game from her perspective. And her verbatim was that I've never seen you progress less in a game because every time I come over, you're in the same room and you're getting killed by the same OP skeleton.
I'm dead. Farm just shattered. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty sad, but I can't say she's not wrong. You have one life and you will lose everything in a blink of an eye. That risk element is what makes the game exciting, gets the dopamine rushing, and that feeds into the same game loop that I mentioned. But as I talk about sinking hours into the game, I also ask myself, why do I even like the game in the first place? And I'm going to break it down into these two pieces. One is that there's a pretty rapid rate of evolution in the game, meaning the devs keep up with it with hotfix after hotfix, after hotfix, after hotfix. I mean, look at this. Look at this. And since the alpha in September of 2020, each month's worth of changes and hotfixes can completely destroy a specific class or playstyle. This could also create completely new playstyles, and that's because Iron Mace cares. But they at least follow the data, keep things interesting as they push out improvements and critical changes. There's this loose roadmap I've come across, but I don't even know if this is even accurate. And the other half that I do like about it, that's also a double-edged sword, is that there is a hardcore learning phase to Dark and Darker. Like an onion, there are layers. And there are so many layers. And at a very high level, let's just dive into them to see if you could relate. If you've been playing for a while, and if you haven't, let this be a warning or a welcoming, because this has been my experience after 100 hours. With level 1 just being the introduction, you picked up the game, you downloaded it, you jump in, pick a class, you're learning some combat, you're just trying to exfil from the solo goblin caves, and loot indiscriminately without getting caught. You probably accepted a bunch of quests without any fucking clue what to do, and you're constantly running from danger, or you're just dying a lot. In this phase, you probably never made it out once, or you just creep through your entire way. Now, within that intro phase, those are your first steps, but in stage 2 comes trial and error. You start to see your first successful exfils, you're building up that stash. You are actually challenging in PvP, but you're graciously losing. But hey, you probably collected a few quests, bought some things back, and you probably tried out some high rollers as well. You got slapped, stat checked, got shut down, but still have no idea how the game even flows. Now with stage 3 is your rise in competency. That's where you start to grow. You're now exploring the meta builds, and you're trying to find friends to play with and suck them down into the K-hole with you.
Nice.
You start to watch some YouTubers. Your looting now isn't egregious. You're no longer a loot goblin, but you're more selective. And you also understand monster movement. Every monster has their own move and cadence with their swings, and you know how to block or dodge. And lastly, you're getting familiar with the stats. But not the details in the stats, just the base stats. With stage 4 is strategic mastery. Now you started exfilling successfully, but you're more aware of the actual in-game economy, and now you're flipping gear. You got that nice little purple cape, trying to flip it for 1300, who knows? But you're watching your market. Also, you're probably dipping your toes into hell, but you're still not getting out of there successfully. Even though you got the map memorized, you're reading the wiki, and you know the pacing of the game. Whether it's goblin caves, duos, trios, you know the pacing, you know the hot spots for the fights, but you still probably get outplayed most of the time. Now with level 5, you're pretty infatuated with the game. You're mastering the boss fights, whether you're cheesing them, or you know their exact movements for all the blocks, and you're pushing player spawns. You're confident. You understand positioning, when to retreat, when to push, and you probably already know some player matchups. And with level 6, you're locked in. You're probably spending 15 minutes just browsing the marketplace for a gear set for high rollers, and you're mainly there for PvP at the end of the day. You're there to take what someone else has, and that's the fun of it. In addition, you probably know the timing of your skills, in addition to anyone else's skills, and you're getting deeper into build theory. Hell, even testing your own meta. Now with level 7, you probably hit some sort of endgame reality. Maybe your name has been immortalized in the game, grinding the leaderboards, or you're going into private lobbies at the same time to get better. And there's a firm chance you probably have a strong disdain for the game. Think your developer with the perfect idea of how the game should progress, getting a little bored and jaded. Now with me having about 100 hours, I'm probably sitting on levels 4 to 5, honestly. And now, while all those are pretty much positive things, on the opposite hand, while I do hate the game in some degrees, what I hate most about it is myself for enjoying it so much. But in all reality, my biggest bone to pick with Dark and Darker is gonna be the UI. Because it shouldn't take me 76 clicks just to accept all my quests on a new character. 1, 2, 3, 72, 73, 74 clicks. But my main bone to pick with Dark and Darker is why for so long have you been keeping playtime away from us? Let's just look at these threads. Look at these threads. Everyone is asking for playtime. I even went through the work of creating a PowerShell script that runs in startup just to look for the dungeon crawler executable, track the hours I played, throw that in a CSV on my desktop just to see how much time I've been sinking into the game. But just suddenly this week, I see time played when I hit escape. Where did that come from? Why was that not in the patch notes? Was it in the patch notes? What else are you hiding from us? Also, while there is no onboarding whatsoever, I guess that fits the description of a hardcore survival PvP PvE experience, because they mean it. They give you a lick of zero information of how this game works, what to do, other than just picking a character, picking some skills, and just hopping the fuck in there and just figuring it out. You're gonna walk to crawl and crawl to walk, and every time you get up, you're gonna sit the fuck down. What's worse is that I had a buddy recommend it to me, and he thought he could play it on GeForce Now. I downloaded it thinking we're gonna hop on, have a good time, and he's like, "Oh man, bro, it's not even on GeForce." Then I'm just like, "Well, I guess I spent money on this. Might as well like figure it out." And a few weeks in, I pull a buddy in. Now he's in the K-hole, and we're sharing that sweet, sweet addiction together. But at the end of the day, everything's in an open beta phase, as most games nowadays. But hell, I'm ranting now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks and have a good one.